Hello, this is Walter, and I apologize for not getting any videos done in a while. A lot of crazy stuff going on in my life right this moment, but hopefully things are going to calm down here. So I wanted to get a quick video out. I'm actually working on building a hip thruster machine, kind of modeled after a Brett Contreras hip thruster that he has. And then I looked at several others online, and I'm building that, and I was filming it. But my GoPro camera, which kind of gets goofy sometimes, it overheats easily because they're actually made to use for action photos where they're strapped to a body or a vehicle or something that's moving, so it gets airflow. So doing these type studio shots, in a sense, it's not really made for that. Plus it kind of distorts things, makes things look thin or weird, especially if you get out, at an angle because of the kind of fisheye lens. So down the road I hope to buy a better camera for what I'm doing. But so GoPro actually changed their format, which connects to my phone. I have a Hero Plus 3 GoPro, an older one, and Wi-Fi connects to my phone, which is how I control it. And they changed some things on there, like, with today's computer technology, people are changing things all the time because, well enough isn't good for people. They want something different all the time, and it gets confusing. Well, they changed things now so that when I thought I was hitting a video, it actually was taking pictures. And I filmed a bunch of stuff making my hip thruster machine, and it all came out as a bunch of pictures. So I'll just kind of play them through. When I get that video done, I'll be doing some recording of that kind of after the fact of some of the things I did. So just a heads up on that I want to get that out to you pretty soon. Okay, I'm going to try to show you some of the things I was talking about my GoPro camera. I have a Hero 3 Plus, the black, and it's actually a pretty good camera. They're really made for doing action shots where you got airflow over the camera to keep it cool, and that's why people that use it like I am in a studio setting a lot of times find they overheat, especially in the Arizona temperatures out here. It gets Africa hot out here. Anyway, several things I noticed with it is they have reformatted some things. The screen here is a little bit different, and one thing is when you start recording, here you can see the picture that my camera would be recording, like whatever direction that camera is facing in, that's what it's going to record. So, which was nice, you can frame your shot. But then when you actually hit the center button and you start recording, it says camera busy, but now you can no longer see the preview that you used to have, so you can't tell if you're still in frame with different things. And they changed that. It used to be different. You used to be able to still see the picture. The other thing that's kind of aggravating with it is as you look at this, and I can do it this way too, is you can see this little icon down here, and it shows a video camera, but it's not actually taking video. It's not actually taking video, it's actually taking pictures. If you hit this button, you'll notice this is the camera, this is the camcorder or video recording icon. If you hit that button, it says video. Now it's actually going to take video, and it shows a little video camera down here, but up here it shows the camera, and this is like highlighted more, so you'll think that now it's in camera mode and it's actually going to take pictures, but it won't take pictures. What it'll do instead is it'll be taking photos. So it should say on here, like photo, that's the mode it's in versus the icon, because it's easy to get these mixed up. It's actually doing video, so it should say video down here. It gets confusing. I'm getting confusing just looking at this stupid thing. And if you hit this camera to take photos, then it shows the photo down here, but it shows the camera down here, and it shows the camcorder up here. So you get your video camcorder confused with the camera that takes pictures and the video camcorder that takes videos.
And the one that it's on should be up here because it's next to the power button, what you're doing. Of course, these are your settings and the other stuff. So if you're not paying attention, you can easily, if you're on a nice vacation or you're recording something really cool and you think you're doing video, you might actually find out you're doing photos. And then when you get home and you go to upload them and take a look at them, you just wasted a bunch of effort and time, and you missed out maybe on the video of a lifetime. And that's what happened to me when I was recording all this stuff. Thought I was recording all this stuff on my hip thruster machine that I've been working on. It was actually taking pictures and not video, because I saw the video camera here and thought, oh, this is what it's doing, but it's not. It's actually following this icon down here, the cameras. So you got to hit this, it'll say video, and then it disappears, and then it shows the video camera down here, which is what it's doing. But you see the camera up here and you think, oh, it's taking pictures, but again, it's not taking pictures. So it'll mess you up. And I guess it's recording video now, but it's just screwy. It should say what it's actually recording here, like when you hit this button and it says photo, or you hit this button again and it says you hit this button again up here and it says video. That should be like right across here, so you know that's what it's doing, because you'll forget it's on video. You'll see the camera and think it's taking pictures, and then a few minutes later, if you power it off again and you forget what mode it's in and you go back, it can mess you up. It's just, I don't know, a little faux pas I think that the GoPro really needs to fix.
Right now I'm just working on my bench. I have a old flat incline bench I bought years ago. It's probably, 30 years old or older. And it finally broke. This here attached to this rod like this, and then this tube part was welded on the frame of my bench, and it would rotate. Well, it all froze up from getting rusty from being out in weather and stuff, and then eventually this just metal fatigue from moving it up and down, it broke, got a little crack in it, and then water got in there, moisture, and then it rusted, as you can see. So I'm rebuilding it. I'm going to reinforce it, and I was just going to show you a little trick that I did. Took a little bit of work to get this thing all apart, but a lot of times when people need to sand the inside of a tube, they'll use a drum sander or maybe a wire brush, and they'll put it, in a drill bit and a drill, and they'll start drilling it. If you don't have that, a lot of times what people will do is they'll take a piece of dowel, whether metal or wood, and they'll cut a groove in it, and then they'll slide a piece of sandpaper down on there and use that like their little drum sander. They'll chuck this in the drill, or they'll tape it on here. But if you don't have that, this is what I do. This works really well in a pinch. And this is just a piece of belt sanding material I had laying around. I pick them up really cheap at Harbor Freight and then cut what I want out of them. So I just roll this on here nice and snug like this, and then I push this shaft down through here like this, and then I open up my chuck as far as it'll go, and I put this whole thing down in there so that the chuck is actually squeezing the rod or doweling and the sandpaper at the same time. So it locks it in there, and there we go. So I can coil this up a little bit and stick it in my tube. And all it really is just getting the this spiral the right way. So you can see it works pretty good. Nice little trick out in the field, then just unlock it. No harm done. And it's just a way to improvise and adapt with what you have, so you can overcome a particular situation that you're working on. And that's one of the things with tools. It's good to invest in tools. You can do a lot of things with them. Sometimes you can figure out ways to repurpose things that you have, and it's the same with training. People might feel like, well, I don't have kettlebells, or I don't have this or that, I want to train a certain way. Well, you can improvise. I mean, a press is a press is a press. You know, if you're using a barbell, or you're using a kettlebell, or you're pressing a rock overhead, you're all still using the muscles of pressing, but you're also hitting things a little bit differently, a little bit more uniquely with each implement. So you can get extremely strong and conditioned using logs and rocks just as well as a person could with kettlebells, or as well as someone could with barbells. So if you're limited in your equipment, look at what you have, what your options are, and then learn how to adapt to those circumstances and improvise with those things. And you'll find that you can get a lot better training session in and accomplish goals that you want without having the proper equipment. Back in 2004, when I took my RKC and became a certified RKC instructor at that time, and I since have let that certification lapse after a few years back then, but I trained almost exclusively with basketballs that I got at Walmart for a couple dollars. I cut a little crossed hole in the top, opened it up, filled it with concrete, and I'd taken like 3/8 inch rebar. I bent around a couple of my weight plates so they made a circle with legs on it, and I kinked the legs a little bit, got them in, got them down into the hole of the basketball, and spooned concrete into it till it filled it up, and I tamped it. Excuse me, I think I swallowed a bug or something there. But I tamped around the basketball and got more concrete in there, and I'd actually calculated, found the formulas online, calculated the spherical shape, the cubic inches of volume in that basketball, and calculated out and found how much concrete weighed per square cubic inch, multiplied that, figured out, well, the basketball would weigh about 36 pounds or so, and when I got done they were like 37 and a half, so it was pretty accurate. And then once I had the rebar there, I wrapped it with like some rope I bought, a 1/2 inch or 3/8 inch rope I got really cheap here locally, and I just wrapped it with that really tight and glued it, like epoxied it on, and then I wrapped it again the second time around, so it made a nice thick handle. And that's what I trained with up until like about 3 weeks before my RKC. I ordered a 24 kilogram kettlebell, and just so I would know what it actually felt like, because my handles were longer, so the mass of my concrete kettlebells was further away from my wrist, my hand. And I trained with that for just like maybe 2 weeks. I only got it before I actually went to the RKC in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and I passed. So there's ways to work around things if you just stop and think about it in your training and in accomplishing things in your life. So I just wanted to put that out there, and I hope to be able to start getting more videos out here on a more consistent basis. So this is Walter. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, share it with friends, and I am still working on things behind the scenes because I want to get a nice subscription site set up where I could have videos that are more dedicated to specific things and a lot more detail. I'm going to try to keep my videos shorter too, so it's easier for people to watch. So anyway, I will talk to you next time I see you, hopefully next week.